page 6, paragraph page 468. 400 and, no, 428. Okay, and our last headword was experiment, new word type of lesson. Okay, so let's start with revision. Ready?
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Tell me one common use of the future simple. Tell me one common use of the future simple, please. One common use
One common
of the
use
future
of the
simple
future
is to
simple
communicate
is to
that
communicate
we
that
have just
we
this
have
moment
just this moment
decided to do
decided
something.
to do something.
Give me an example. Give me an example, please. Sorry, I
Sorry,
forgot to
I
bring
forgot to
the
bring
money for
the
you.
money for you.
I'll bring it
I
tomorrow.
I bring it
I
tomorrow. I
promise.
promise.
Very good. Tell me another common use of the future simple. Tell me another common use of the future simple, please. Another common use
Another
of
common
the future
use of the
simple
future
is to
simple
make a
is to
prediction.
make a prediction.
Very good. Give me an example. Give me an example, please. I can't remember
I can't
what she
remember
looks like,
what she looks
but
like,
I'm sure
but I'm
I'll
sure
recognize
I
her
recognize
when
her
I see her.
when I see her.
Very good. Tell me one common use of to be going to. Tell me one common use of to be going to, please. One common use
One
of
common
to be
use
going
of
to
to be
is
going
to
to
make a
is to
prediction
make a prediction
using information
using
we
information
already have.
we already have.
Give me an example. Give me an example, please. Be careful.
Be
That
careful
wine
that
glass
wine
is going
glass
to
is
fall
going to
off
fall
the table.
off the table.
Very good. Tell me another common use of to be going to. Tell me another common use of to be going to, please. Another common use
Another common
of to be
use
going
of
to
to be
is
going
to
to
communicate
is to
a future
communicate a
intention,
future intention,
something that we have
something that we have
already decided to
already
do.
decided to do.
Give me an example. Give me an example, please. I'm going to go
I'm going to
to the
go
cinema
to the cinema
next Saturday.
next Saturday.
Very good. Tell me what you have decided to do this afternoon, this evening. Tell me what you have decided to do this evening. This evening,
This
I'm
evening,
going to
I'm going to watch watch the movie.
watch a movie. Very good. Okay, next. In a house, are the bedrooms usually downstairs? In a house, are the bedrooms usually downstairs? No. In a
No,
house,
in the
the
house.
bedrooms
The
aren't
bedrooms
usually
aren't
downstairs.
usually
They're
downstairs.
usually
They are
upstairs.
usually upstairs.
Very good. And is the living room usually upstairs? And is the living room usually upstairs? No. The living
No,
room
the living
isn't
room
usually
isn't usually that
upstairs. It's
upstairs.
usually
Okay, it's
downstairs.
usually downstairs.
Very good. If you had to get to a room that was on the 10th floor of a building, would you take the stairs or the lift? If you had to get to a room that was on the 10th floor of a building, would you take the stairs or the lift? If I had to
If I had
get to
to
a room,
to,
get to a
to
room
get
that
a
was
room
on the 10th
at
floor
the, on the 10th floor
of a building, I'd
of a
take the lift.
building,
I'd take the lift.
I take the lift.
Very good. One more. If I had to
If I had
get
to
to a room
get through a
that
room
was
that
on the
was
10th
on the
floor
10th floor
of a building,
of a building,
I'd take the lift.
I'd take the lift.
Very good. Is this my top lip? Is this my top lip? No,
No,
it isn't
it
your
isn't
top lip.
your top lip.
It's your bottom
It's
lip.
your bottom lip.
Do you think women look better with or without lipstick? Do you think women look better with or without lipstick? I think women
I think
look
women
better
look better look better with lipstick.
with lipstick. Very good. Okay. What system of government do you have in your country? What system of government do you have in your country? We have a
We have a
democratic system of
democratic
government
system of
in my
government
country.
in my country.
Very good. Is sailing a popular sport in your country? Is sailing a popular sport in your country? Yes or no?
No, it's
Sailing isn't
sailing
a popular
isn't a
sport
popular
in my
sport in
country.
my country.
Would you like to be a sailor? Would you like to be a sailor? Yes or no?
No, I
I
wouldn't
wouldn't like to be a
like
sailor.
to be a sailor.
Very good. Okay. When do we use the auxiliary verb do in a positive sentence with the present simple tense? When do we use the auxiliary verb do in a positive sentence with the present simple tense? We use
We
the
use
auxiliary
the
verb
auxiliary
do
verb to
in a positive
in a
sentence
positive
with
sentence
the present
with
simple
the
tense
present simple
when
tense
we want to
when
be
we
emphatic.
want to be emphatic.
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 Very good. When do we usually use the emphatic do? When do we usually use the emphatic do? We usually
We
use
usually
the
use
emphatic
the
do
emphatic
when we
do
want to
when we
deny
want to
something
deny something
that someone has
that
said
someone has
because
said
we know
because
it
we
is not
know it
true.
is not true.
Well, give me an example. Give me an example, please. For example,
For
if somebody
example,
says,
if somebody
you don't
says,
eat
you
enough
don't eat
vegetables,
enough
I can
vegetables,
reply,
I can
yes,
reply,
I do eat
yes, I
enough
do eat
vegetables.
enough vegetables.
Okay, reply to the sentence using the emphatic form, please. You don't know what I've got in my pocket. Reply to this sentence using the emphatic form, please. You don't know what I've got in my pocket. Yes, I do know
Yes, I
what
don't
you've
know
got in your
what you
pocket.
got in your pocket.
Very good. Tell me another use of the emphatic do. Tell me another use of the emphatic do, please. Another use of
Another
the
use of
emphatic
the
do
emphatic
is
do
in an
is in an
exclamation.
explanation.
Give me an example. Give me an example, please. I do hate
I do
noisy
hate
children.
noisy children.
He does write
Is that
beautifully.
right? Critically.
We could reply to this sentence using the emphatic form in the past, please. He didn't cycle home yesterday. Reply to this sentence using the emphatic form in the past, please. He didn't cycle home yesterday. Yes, he did.
Yes, he
Cycle
did.
home yesterday.
Go home yesterday.
Very good. Okay, reply to this sentence using the emphatic form. You can't read quickly. You can't read quickly. Yes, I can read
Yes, I
quickly.
can read quickly.
The weather's been good. The weather's been good. No, the
No,
weather has
the
not
weather
been good.
has not been good.
He doesn't love her family. He doesn't love her family. Yes, she does.
Yes, he
Love her
does
family.
love her
Her
family.
family.
Her
Yeah, right.
family.
He come to school early. He come to school early. No, he didn't
No, he
come to
didn't
school
come
early.
to school early.
We shouldn't tell him the news. We shouldn't tell him the news. Yes, we should
Yes,
tell
we
him the
should
news.
tell him the news.
Very good. Okay. Next, what am I doing? What am I doing? You're hitting the
You are
table
hitting the
with
table
your hand.
with your hand.
Have you ever hit your head getting into a car? Have you ever hit your head getting into a car? Yes or no?
Yes,
I've hit my head
I've hit my head
getting
in
into a car.
getting into a car.
Very good. What did happen if you hit a policeman? What did happen if you hit a policeman? If I hit a
If I hit
policeman,
a
he'd
policeman,
arrest me.
he'd arrest me.
Have you ever seen anyone arrested? Have you ever seen anyone arrested? Yes or no?
No,
I've never
I've
seen
never
anyone
seen anyone
arrested.
arrested.
Very good. What are the five meanings of the word fair? What are the five meanings of the word fair? The five
The
meanings of
five
the
meanings
word
of
fair
the verb fair
are fair hair,
are fair hair,
industrial, and
industrial, and
agricultural fair,
agricultural fair,
just,
just,
moderate, and
moderate,
funfair.
and fun fair.
Do people become darker and darker in hair color as we go towards the north of Europe? Do people become darker and darker in hair color as we go towards the north of Europe? No.
No,
People don't become
people don't become
darker and darker
darker and
in
darker
hair color
in hair
as
color
we go
as we
towards
go
the north
towards
of Europe.
the north of
They
Europe.
become fairer and
They become
fairer.
fairer and fairer.
Very good. Have you ever been to an industrial or agricultural fair? Have you ever been to an industrial or agricultural fair? Yes or no?
And no,
I've
I've
never been
I've never
to an
been to
industrial
an
or
industrial or
agricultural fair.
agricultural fair.
Very good. If I ask everyone in this room 20 questions but only ask you two, would that be fair? If I ask everyone in this room 20 questions but only ask you two, would that be fair? No. If
No,
you ask
if you ask
everyone in this
everyone
room
in this room
20 questions
20
but
questions,
only ask
but
me
only
two,
ask me two,
it wouldn't be fair.
it wouldn't be
It'd
fair.
be unfair.
It'd be unfair.
Very good. Do they ever have a fun fair in your town? Do they ever have a fun fair in your town? Yes or no?
No,
They. Never have
They never
a
have
fun fair in my
a
town.
fanfare in my town.
Do you speak English fairly well now? Do you speak English fairly well now? Yes, I
Yes,
spoke
I
English
spoke English
fairly well now.
very well now.
Wait, is it a great pleasure for you to get up in the morning? Is it a great pleasure for you to get up in the morning? Yes or no?
Yes,
It's a great pleasure
it's a
for
great
me
pressure for
to get
me
up in the
to
morning.
get up in the morning
Why? Why? Because I find my
because
work
I find my
interesting.
work interesting.
Very good. Do you think it's possible for life to be full of pleasure all the time? Do you think it's possible for life to be full of pleasure all the time? Yes or no?
Yes,
I
I
think it's
I
possible
think it's possible
for life
for
to
life
be full of
to be
pleasure
full of
all
pleasure
the time.
in all the time.
Very good. Okay, do you think it's wrong to use animals for experiments? Do you think it's wrong to use animals for experiments? Yes or no?
And yes,
I think it's wrong
I think it's
to
wrong
use
to
animals
use
for
animals
experiments.
for experiments.
Very good. Okay, and that's the end of our revision. Let's have new word.
Okay,
Okay, repeat discover.
discover.
Very good. Okay, listen. The word discover is a verb. To discover means to find someone or something either by accident or because we're looking for them. For example, America was discovered by Europeans in 1492 by Christopher Columbus or by Leif Erikson about the year 1000. Let's practice. When was America discovered by Europeans and who discovered it? When was America discovered by Europeans and who discovered it? America was
America
discovered
was
by
discovered by
Europeans in
Europeans in
1492 by
1492
Christopher
by
Columbus
Christopher
or
Columbus
by Leif
or by
Erikson
Leif Erikson
about the year
about the
1000.
year 1000.
Wait, is the internet useful for discovering new information? Is the internet useful for discovering new information? Yes, the
Yes,
internet
the
is
internet
useful
is
for
useful
discovering
for
new
discovering
information.
new information.
Very good. Okay, next repeat. Scientist.
Scientist,
Very good. Okay, listen. A scientist is a noun. A scientist is someone who works or is trained in science. For example, I would like to be a scientist. Let's practice. Would you like to be a scientist? Would you like to be a scientist? Yes or no?
yes,
I'd like to be a
I'd like to
scientist.
be a scientist.
Why? Why? Because?
Because so they have a lot of experiments.
Very good. And you love science. Very good. Next, repeat tissue.
Tissue,
Very good. Okay, listen. The word tissue is a noun. It is a paper. It is a piece of soft, thin paper used especially for blowing your nose on, like this, a tissue. We call a paper handkerchief a tissue. Okay, let's practice. What do we call a paper handkerchief? What do we call a paper handkerchief? We call
we
a
call
paper
a
handkerchief
paper
a
handkerchief
tissue.
a tissue.
Very good. Thanks. Repeat. Division.
Division,
Very good. Okay, listen. Division is a noun. It is a group of teams that play against each other in a particular sport. For example, there are 5 football divisions in my country. Each division has different players. My town's in the second division. Okay, so let's practice. How many football divisions are there in your country? How many football divisions are there in your country? There are,
there
let's
are
say, five
there
football
are
divisions
five football
in my
divisions in
country.
my country.
Which division's your hometown in? Which division's your hometown in? My hometown's
My
in the
hometowns
first
in
division.
the first division.
Very good. Thanks. Repeat. In,
In,
within,
within.
on the other hand.
On the other hand,
Very good. Okay, listen. For example, the time now, let's say it's 7 o'clock. If I went out of the room and said to you, I'll be back in an hour's time, it would mean that I'll be back at 8 o'clock. If, on the other hand, I went out of the room and said, I'll be back within an hour, it'd mean that I'd be back at any time between now and 8 o'clock. Let's practice. The time now is 7 o'clock. If I went out of the room and said I'll be back in an hour, at what time would I return? The time now is 7 o'clock. If I went out of the room and said I'll be back within an hour, I'll be back in an hour, at what time would I return? If you went out
If
of the
you
room
went out
and
of the
said
room
I'll be
and
back
said,
in
I'll
an
be
hour,
back in an
you'd
hour,
return at
you'd
7 o'clock.
return at 7 o'clock.
I mean 8 o'clock.
I mean 8 o'clock.
If on the other hand I went out of the room and said I'll be back within an hour, at what time would I return? If on the other hand I went out of the room and said I'll be back within an hour, at what time would I return? If on the other
If,
hand
on the other
you went
hand,
out of the
you
room
went out of the
and
room
said I'll be
and
back
said, I'll be
within an
back
hour,
within an
you'd
hour,
return at
you'd
any
return
time
at any time
between now
between now
and 8 o'clock.
and 8 o'clock.
Greg, do you think life will be discovered on other planets within the next 100 years? Do you think life will be discovered on other planets within the next 100 years? Yes or no?
Yes,
I
I,
think life
I think
will
right
be discovered
will be
on
discovered
other
on
planets
other planets
within the next hundred
within the
years.
next 100 years.
Very good. Next, repeat.
Name,
Mainly.
minery,
Shipping.
shopping.
Very good. Okay, listen. Shipping is a noun. It is the activity of going to shops and buying things. For example, late night shopping is becoming very popular. Main is an adjective. For example, the largest shopping street in Tokyo are Shibuya and Shinjuku. Or we can say the main shopping street in Tokyo are Shibuya and Shinjuku. Mainly is an adverb. For example, Shibuya and Shinjuku are mainly the shopping streets in Tokyo. Okay, let's practice. Which is the main shopping street in your town? Which is the main shopping street in your town? Now, where
Although
is the main
Odori is the main
shopping street in my
shopping
town?
street in my town.
Very good. Do you think that the difference between the people of one country and those of another is mainly a question of language? Do you think that the difference between the people of one country and those of another is mainly a question of language? Yes or no?
Yes,
I think that
I think that
the difference between
the difference between uh,
the people of
the
one
people
country
of one
and
country
those of
and
another
those of another
is mainly a
is
question of
mainly a question
language.
of language.
Very good. Next, repeat. Sing, sang, sung.
Sing, sang, song.
Very good. Okay, listen. The word sing is a verb. It is to produce a musical sound with your voice. Sing, sang, sung are the three forms of the verb to sing. For example, people are so often in the habit of singing to themselves in the bathroom, maybe because their voices sound better in the bathroom. If I sang in public for a day, I think I'd earn about 1 yen. Okay, let's practice. What are the three forms of sing? What are the three forms of sing? The three
The
forms
three
of sing
forms of
are
sing
sing, sang,
are
sung.
sing, sang, song.
Why are people so often in the habit of singing to themselves in the bathroom? Why are people so often in the habit of singing to themselves in the bathroom? People are so
People
often
are
in the
so
habit
often
of
in the
singing to
habit of
themselves
singing to
in the
themselves
bathroom,
in the
maybe
bathroom,
because
maybe
their
because
voices sound
their
better
voices sound
in the
better
bathroom.
in the bathroom.
Right? If you sang in public for a day, how much do you think you'd earn? If you sang in public for a day, how much do you think you'd earn? If I sang
If I
in
sang
public for a
in
day,
public or a
I
day,
think I'd earn
I
about
think I'd earn about 5
10,
yen,
10 million yen.
10
Very
million yen. Yeah.
next.
Oh,
Have you ever sung in public? Have you ever sung in public? Yes or no?
uh, no,
I've
I've
never
never
sung in public.
sung in public.
Very good. Okay, so now let's move on to reading.
Okay,
Okay, so our reading is at stage 5, paragraph page 322. Okay, and our last head word was although. Okay, start with head word cook, tasty, pasta.
okay. Cook tasty pasta. Is there a restaurant near here that cooks